Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling and cinematography and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Thank you for joining us today. I'm joined today by my puzzle-solving friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone. I do love a good puzzle. The more pieces, the better.
Do you prefer to be rectangular, or can it be some weird-ass shape?
Depends on how long I have. You know, if I don't have too long to finish the puzzle, probably rectangular. But if you're going a weird random shape, I don't have time for that. Although that sounds like a good challenge. I don't have time for that.
You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistine. Some recent episodes include Iron Man, Gran Turismo, Ford vs. Ferrari, The Nun, The Nun 2.
The Nun 2? Whoa.
But surprise, today we're covering Saw X in celebration of the Saw franchise.
Dun, dun, dun. Wait, why is it a celebration? Is it a...
It's the 10th movie.
Ah, okay.
It's not the 10th anniversary. That's long past, I guess, but I think Saw 1 came out in like 2001.
2004.
Okay, so 19 years.
Yeah.
We're about the 20-year mark next year. They should have released it back. They should have released it then.
Yep.
For a 20-year anniversary. They should re-release Saw 1 in theaters for the 20th anniversary. Is what they should do.
Yes.
In some 4K version that probably already exists, but they could do that.
I'd go. I'd watch that.
Yeah, that'd be a huge hit, I think. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Saw, though. I'm mildly surprised. Only mildly. It's a huge franchise, but it ended on that note where you're like, okay, we're probably going to put this away for, like, a while. And I guess it was gone for a couple years, but it came back.
Literally a couple years.
So it's only been 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And they came back with a veteran of the series, I guess, Kevin Greutert. That sounds about right.
Yep.
He directed a couple. He's a longtime editor on the series, so he's very familiar with the Saw franchise. And I don't know how much input he put into the writing process. The Saws that he was at the helm of were some of the weaker ones, I think, personally, which I think is Saw 6 and 7, if I remember correctly. But
Well, I know based off the little bit of kind of interviews behind the scenes I saw, he was very involved, heavily involved in all the decisions, including the screenplay. I know he was the veteran of this franchise, so he followed it from the start and kind of knew his backstory the best. So people wanted to work with him in that manner. They wanted him to double check and make sure that everything they're doing and saying and whatever follows the story that he wanted to keep going, with the exception of Spiral.
yeah.
Was he involved in Spiral? I don't think so. Was anyone related to the Saw franchise involved in Spiral?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that was a Chris Rock joint, basically. That was totally conceived by him. That was pitched by him. He was obviously in it. He may have even directed, I'm not sure. But yeah, that is a very what do you say? Like the black sheep of the Saw series, in a funny way, I guess, because I think there's different eras of Saw, and we I guess obviously so when we have the big reveals in the last half with our many jigsaws and many players.
So it's the same writers Josh Stolberg and Peter Goldfinger that did Spiral and this new Saw.
Okay. There was obviously this early on. There was obviously this vision. It was either a vision of we're gonna try to tell you the most complicated horror story of all time, or we had these many different writers over these 20 years trying to correct course over and over and over again. So we were kind of at the mercy of those guys, because it gets mega convoluted.
It gets convoluted, but it's, I don't know, maybe I'm the black sheep here, but it works for me. It's not even convoluted. It's what the story is. It's just crazy. It's craziness.
It is craziness for craziness' sake, which is not. It's hard to say it's not storytelling. That's what my mouth wants to say, but it's much more interesting than not storytelling. It's really interesting. It's almost like, it's not quite like this, but it sort of is like a train wreck or a car wreck when it happens. Everybody's watching and you're just like, what the fuck? And you can't. It just attracts everybody's eyes. That's kind of the Saw thing. The train. I guess terrible things happen in both, right? But there's no doubt something deeply interesting about most of the Saw films, up to probably 7, maybe 8, but I know 9 kind of loses course entirely. But this is not a Saw franchise analysis, not to get too deep into it. When Hoffman takes over, it completely falls off the rails, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I don't think it completely falls off the rails. I think it's just a new Jigsaw. It's a new perspective. It's a whole new thing. And, we said this is not going to be an analysis
of the franchise.
Maybe that could be another thing, cuz I would love to do that. Just watch all the films back to back, a marathon. But I think there's something there. And maybe I'm just a hardcore fan.
You're no doubt a hardcore fan. I'm a fan too. Maybe not quite on your level. These films definitely tap into, what I like to call, what a lot of people like to call, a guilty pleasure series, really, for the most part. I think there's only probably 3 solid Saw films that have some kind of story to tell, some kind of lesson to learn, as strange as that might be. But I think, that's not true. That's not true, because you're not interpreting anything in Saw. It's pretty straightforward. It's just they just pull the M. Night Shyamalan thing on over and over and over and over and over again,
which is great.
Which is fine. It's just, and maybe this is the exact feeling they want you to kind of stay in. What I'm feeling, it's just never enough. You know what I mean? They just always you go through the movie, you go through the gore fest, you go through the the light David Fincher 7, right? Here and there, it picks up more and more. And then they deliver, of course. They always deliver, with the exception, I think, of probably the last Spiral, of course, and then probably 7 and 8.
Oh, no, man. No.
Which one's when it's revealed that the guy from the original is? Which one is that?
That's 7, yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's just 8. I'm not sure.
Oh, no. I can't believe these words are still coming out of your mouth.
8's terrible. And the barn?
Yes. I love 8.
Yeah, 8's terrible.
Oh, my God. We need that list of favorite Saw movies. Oh, my God. That's going to be...
I think 5's probably... 5,
No.
6...
No. Don't get into this now. We're going to get into this in a different episode, because we're going to start fighting words right now.
Well, I will say Saw X is probably... It's in the top 3 best Saws, and it might be the best Saw film. I like Saw 1 quite a bit, but I think Saw X, being a self-contained story to a relatively high degree, keeps it really above the others. And I know we kind of lose I guess at this point, the trademark mega twists at the end. We get one, of course, but it's not the reveal of a new killer or anything. It's not the the twists we get in 6, 7, 8, 9.
All of them.
All of them.
I guess, except the first one.
Well, yeah, I guess
but
one of the and 2 and 3. I mean, I guess Amanda.
No.
You count Amanda being part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's a major plot twist. Or
Okay.
maybe major reveal.
Well, I think the major reveal happens more in Saw 2 with her being in on it.
Yeah.
Not that she's... I think her being present during the traps is and that she's in on it is the crazy reveal. I guess if she was just in on it, that wouldn't have had the same effect. But which is that's why Saw 2 is one of the 3. Saw 1, 2, and now X are easily the best Saw films.
I think you need to rewatch them.
Okay.
I really do. And then we'll fight or maybe I need to rewatch them. Maybe I need to rewatch them with fresh eyes here, but I didn't approach this film as which Saw movie is the best. Probably because it's been a while since I've seen them.
Well, it's hard to not compare them, right?
Well, I mean, the closest one to compare it to is Spiral. I mean, in timeline is Spiral, and I'm not about to compare that trash to this. And before that, it's Jigsaw, but that was what, 2017? You know, it's been far enough. I haven't seen it in a while. I can compare it to the franchise as a whole and maybe what I remember it making me feel, and just a kind of quick recap of the films and some of the traps and some of the characters. But I really need to rewatch them to pick a favorite or to even begin to order them best to worst. Because the way I'm remembering them, Saw 5 is probably the worst.
Yeah, I can't remember Saw 5.
Exactly.
I can't remember which one's which.
Oh.
I think we'll talk about it later. We'll revisit this. There's a lot to say about the Saw franchise, apparently. It's no doubt, that's what I'm saying. It's no doubt a very interesting series. No fucking doubt, with the exception of Spiral. And Spiral's interesting, I guess, on its own right, simply because it's so unrelated in how it even came to be. You know, it's like, it's really like how this is so not like the others. And they recognize that. Spiral, Book of the Saw, whatever it's called, Book of Saw or whatever.
From the Book of Saw. Okay.
So we'll revisit this though. So tell me a little bit about your high level thoughts. Tell me your gut impressions of Saw X. I mean, you're probably the only person in my life in my whole life ever, who appreciates Saw even remotely, close to me. Probably more.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I've always been the Saw friend. I've always been the horror friend,
yeah,
really in general, but especially Saw.
Well, I've never been a horror anything, but the Saw films, they don't even feel like horror to me.
They're different. They are different.
They're so different.
They really are.
And they're so interesting. And, I'm not fazed by the gore, the blood, or the traps in the sense of, oh, I can't watch that, or it's too much for me. I don't know if people actually feel that. Do people feel that in movies?
Yeah, they have to, right? People walk out of shit all the time. And the funny thing about Saw is it's so nuts that the gore is so nuts that it's just, I don't know how you could really feel weird about it. You know what I mean? It's it's kind of borderline comical.
Yeah, it's like you've never seen this in your life. So it shouldn't be I don't know. But I guess I can relate to the creepy faces when I don't want to look, but I'm not walking out of anywhere.
Never. Not unless it's just terrible.
I'm not turning off.
That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not turning off anything unless it's terrible. So I guess I can't relate on that note. But I've always been a fan of them. I don't think, surprisingly, I've seen any of them in the movie theater.
I think I saw all of them up to 7, I think, in the theater.
Okay.
Maybe 8. I'm not sure. I saw them pretty deep into the theater, though. I definitely didn't see Jigsaw. I know that. Number 8. Yeah, 8. Jigsaw's 8. Yeah, I definitely didn't see Jigsaw, no.
Yeah, I've owned a few.
I own them all on DVD. That's hilarious.
That's
my only DVDs.
I think I owned, or the family, you know, because I think my whole family loves the Saw movies, or at least enjoys them.
Your sister?
Oh, yeah. And I think my brother likes them too. Not sure about my mom and dad. I'll have to ask my mom. My dad doesn't watch anything. But, I don't know. But we owned at least the first, like, 5 or 4 on DVD. And then, I have Jigsaw on DVD. But I never went to the movie theaters to watch this. But I wish I would have gone to see this at the movie theater. This movie was kind of like a, you know, oh shit, they're making another Saw movie. And I think that really speaks to the hardcore Saw fans that want to go see that. I didn't watch the trailer. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Because I try not to watch the trailers. So I knew there was a movie coming out. And maybe I did because I remember the eyeball trap. But I really wish I would have gone to see this at the movie theater, along with all the other Saw people that would want to go see this at the movie theater. But it's definitely an outlier here in the franchise because they gave us a lot more of John Kramer's story. And, you know, maybe not a backstory because we already know his backstory from the other movies, but just a more emotional story here on how he thinks and how he feels. And it was very cinematically beautiful. I don't know if I liked it watching it until after I got to think about it a little bit because I'm not there for cinematically beautiful. I'm not there for John Kramer's emotions. I'm there for the gore, the kidnapping, the traps.
But don't all the deaths hit in a much better way? Aren't they much more satisfying when they basically earn themselves? You get to know these characters a little bit better. You know that you see them wrong John, you know? You see them lie to others. You see them manipulate others. They really paint themselves into a place where John's like, all right, they're really being, there's like a real kind of criminal nature here, you know, versus the one where he kidnaps all of the insurance guys. That one's a little off because, you know, they're just insurance guys. This one, you're really getting wronged here. Getting lied to. I guess the insurance one almost feels like there's a little bit of a message there. That they're evil as fuck.
Hey, I'm not gonna disagree with him. With the insurance people.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
But, I don't know. I feel like I got to know the characters too much. I didn't care for that. I wanted to see them struggle through their, you know, trap. I wanted to feel the desperation, the oh shit moment. I think that was a little too rushed.
Isn't it nice though to see these doctors, fake doctors, not even really sure on that, have to actually kind of do doctor-y things, perform some kind of surgery on themselves to get out? You wouldn't really get that without kind of knowing that they were, in quotes, doctors.
Well, they weren't doctors. I don't know about the lady. What's her name? Cecilia? And the guy, what's the guy's name? I know one's Diego and one's Mateo, but I don't know which one was the driver and which one was the one that had to pick his brain out.
Mateo was the one that picked out his brain.
Okay. Mateo was a vet.
Okay.
He worked at a vet. And then the other 2 girls didn't do anything related. They just wanted money.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like he just had... Yeah, I'm not sure I care that they were surgeons. You know, the Saw movies, they give this person a test or a puzzle or whatever, a game, and we see them struggle throughout the whole film, or at least halfway, or 10 minutes or something. And you don't know if they're going to make it. I mean, we still had that here. You still don't know if they're going to make it or not. You still have that sense of, you know, suspense. But
I mean, especially because the first guy he tests makes it. They really kind of put you on your head in that way. You're like, oh shit. And he leaves fucked up. His arms are fucked up. And so you're just like, all right, this is where we're starting. You don't, it really does a really good job placing you in that place, placing you where you're just not really sure how things are going to go as far as how the people in the traps are going to go. Yeah. No, so that's a very cool point. Yeah.
And in the previous films, there's a lot of flashbacks,
which is one of the most terrible fucking things.
No.
About the I mean,
not here. Not in this franchise. Flashbacks typically, yes, do annoy me. But in this franchise...
But they flash back to things that happened 15 minutes ago. It's a very anime thing. It's a very shonen anime thing. It's just like, what the fuck? There's like...
But when they do the flashback,
it's just fluff.
Someone's explaining why they have that flashback.
I mean, it's true.
So you can see the thing that you missed.
Yeah, and they always show a little bit more. They peek, you get to see a little bit more behind the curtain. It's just like, okay.
It's different.
But can we not get the same flashback 5 times in the same movie and just kind of get that reveal in a much more concise, like smarter way instead of showing us the first 3 minutes, and then then the 4 minutes, then those 5 minutes, and then 6 minutes. You're like, okay, I get it. This guy, that shit's so annoying. And then, especially when that's almost the method they take to build character, and to show who the villain is.
But there's no character building. I mean, that's it. There's no character building.
There really isn't.
And
they try, I guess, with John in the sense that he has these little aphorisms to say, and he's apparently just, what do people say, a God-given philosopher. He's full of wisdom.
He is full of wisdom.
I guess that's the most kind of character we get, but we can at least humanize everybody. I forgot about the Mateo being from, like, we see him get kidnapped out of the vet place.
Yeah.
We don't see him do vet things. We just see him get kidnapped there. So there's like nice little texture happening there. And so he's like, has some surgeon chops on animals potentially. Not too different from humans, but like it's, and he's lying, right? So yeah, okay. So you like the flashbacks?
I like the flashbacks. I think they serve their purpose because I need to see the thing I missed.
They certainly own them.
Yeah, and him to explain it to me. I need that.
They own the fuck out of them. It's hard. There's no doubt, with the exception, I think, of 8. I think Saul knows exactly what it is.
8 knows what it is.
Maybe I'm too hard on 8. I don't remember. I gotta rewatch that one, I guess.
Yeah, rewatch that one. Oh my gosh, you're being too hard on 8. I think
that's the one in the barn, right? They're in like a food processing plant, I think.
No, there's the one with the meat factory, and then there's the one with the barn.
The barn is the later one?
Yeah, the barn is the later one.
Yeah, that's the one. What is that one? Which one is that?
That's Jigsaw.
That's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's no good. As far as I remember, I need to rewatch it.
You need to rewatch it. Oh, maybe I need to rewatch
There's
it.
There's a meat packing plant and a barn.
Yeah, get it together. I don't care for them to be human. They still need to pay. They still deserve what they deserve. All you have to give me is the one thing they did bad, and I'm all for it.
It's for all those road rage maniacs out there, these movies.
Yes.
You cut me off, you must fucking die.
You must die. Yes, I'm right there with John, man. All you need to tell me is, oh, he raped somebody. Yes, lock him up. Put him in that fucking trap puzzle. Oh, what they do? They did drugs, and they're addicted to them? All right.
They must go.
Chop their head off. Test them.
See how much they want to live.
Exactly. So maybe there's that quality.
I mean, it's no doubt fun. And there's a lot of great traps, right?
Well, let's talk about the traps. Were they good?
They were good traps. I felt like they ran this thing like Hoffman did. I think when Hoffman kind of took over, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't give them enough time most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we kind of ran into that here. Because I feel like early Saw, John gave them plenty of time. They just needed to decide.
Yeah, he gave him like 30 minutes to hours.
I think we ran into that problem here a little bit, where these guys at least deserved a little bit more time.
They didn't even get to think about whether they deserve this or not.
No, and they did really wrong John, so there's that element. So that is kind of nice. They really wronged him. You know, they lied hardcore. It's not just like some insurance nonsense.
And stole his money.
And stole from him, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
They stole a lot of money from him. They stole a lot of money from a lot of people.
Yes.
And, you know, and of course he's our savior, John is.
He's my savior.
Is he Jesus?
He might be.
So the traps are pretty fun, and I like that they're in the same room watching each other. That's very cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the second one, of course, right? The second one, I go back and forth between the first one, second one, and this one being my favorite. The first one is just so insane, right? I was just going to say the second one, you know, has them kind of all sort of working together, but they're all like together and experiencing this crazy trauma. And I guess 8 also has that, right?
A bit, yes.
So maybe I do need to give 8 another chance. Maybe by the time I always get to 8, I'm so over Saw. I just need a break. I need to come back. I need to spend a few weeks away from it and then watch it.
Oh, you're not going to enjoy a marathon, are you?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm not a marathon person. Because that's the last time I watched it. It was, you know, in a marathon at the end. So it's just like, maybe that's why, maybe that's why I like 1 and 2 the most, because they're the start.
Maybe we should watch them
in
backwards.
reverse.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So I do like those parts, and I like the traps themselves too. Yeah, of course. What do you think?
I felt like these traps were a lot more gnarly. Like they were kind of insane, and with the time, you know, they didn't have enough time. And I mean, this girl had to chop off her whole leg.
In the middle of the thigh.
In the middle of the thigh. I mean, okay, the first dude, the doctor in the first movie, only has to chop off his leg.
His ankle.
Yeah, foot down, right? Ankle down.
Yeah.
Yeah, not his whole leg. Yeah, his foot.
It's fucking nothing compared to cutting through your femur.
For real.
And then having to stick like a big syringe up there to suck out your
marrow, right? Or
your bone marrow, yeah.
Your bone marrow. Yeah, that was insane. And then, you know, the guy who had to pick at his brain.
That was awesome.
That was insane.
That was awesome.
Okay.
I was like this. In my teeth. I was like, oh, shit. That's crazy. But the bone marrow thing, when it was pouring out, when she stuck the syringe up in the middle of her femur and the bone marrow wasn't coming out, I was like, this ain't fucking fair. It's like, it's so slow. She had no time.
Dude.
This was personal. This was personal.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it, right?
Yes. Because when I donated plasma, I mean, I took longer than most of the other people there. I don't know why. Maybe, you know, my body or something. So this girl could have had the same issue. You know, you don't know how a body's going to react, John. Maybe they need an extra minute. But no, too personal. But the brain thing, I mean, okay, you know, people survive with certain sections of their brain, blah, blah, blah. This dude don't know what section he can survive with.
Well, that's kind of part of the funny thing, right? He's like, you're a surgeon, aren't you? You should know. That's part of the funny thing. And we wouldn't have that if we didn't have that early exposition.
Yeah, I guess you're right there.
And then with the bitch, what's her name? Cecilia?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have her, I'm the smartest guy in the room kind of attitude, you know, no one can outdo me, I'm the mastermind kind of thing, without her being the mastermind. We need to see it for a little while. And then it, you know, of course it ends how it ends. We'll talk about that in a second, but.
Okay, we can pick her and see her for a while, sure. You know, we see her throughout. And the Saw movies do that with the flashbacks.
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta go watch them, I guess. I can't really say exactly. I feel like they don't, but I guess, I don't know.
maybe. Okay. Yeah, we gotta rewatch them. But okay, I see what you're saying.
And then Abigail, that's her name. I was trying to think of it. She was
Gabriella.
Abigail. I thought I got it.
She ain't no Abigail.
I thought I had it as Gabriella. We don't really know anything about her, but she was like this nice hostess kind of, loving person for John and stuff. And she was kind of taking care of him and, took a liking to him, brought him tequila or whatever. And, he thought about bringing her a gift and everything. I guess that's what brought him back and everything. But that was all I needed too. Like she had this like, she was like the warm character. She was the bedside nurse kind of character for him and stuff. And so she didn't really have like a profession that we needed other than that she was just part of it. And so she, but she's like not super part of it, and so she gets got to. It works for me.
Yeah. I didn't quite understand that, like the kind of hesitation with her. I understood it from Amanda's point of view more, but you looked at me to my face. I probably spent the most time with you, Gabriella, at that house. You were the bitch that betrayed me the most. You're dying first. You're getting 10 seconds up there hanging and burning to death.
Well, the hesitation only came from Amanda, right? She basically prolonged her life.
Yeah, I guess, because Amanda at one point was like, okay, well, she's, Gabriella's not going next. The guy's going next.
Is it because she was a junkie?
Yeah.
And so they had that thing going on.
They had that. She felt sorry for her.
Which is nice, right? It's not, for one, it wasn't a flashback of something we already fucking saw. Like that, it was a flashback of just to kind of give us some texture. It wasn't something that was part of the movie earlier in any way whatsoever. But it also kind of, we'd seen the character like this earlier on, and we're already kind of on her side. She's on our side, with Amanda. So that, works on multiple levels, I think. It's good, right? The building that little bit of character, just a little bit of character, a little bit of what this human is. What do they do in their daily life kind of thing in it.
I mean, we only had like 2 scenes with her, though.
It was enough, I feel like, versus some of the other Saw shit.
We have more in some of the other Saw shit.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
But, well, I was saying that he agreed to let Amanda do that.
Well, John's a nice guy.
No, not in the traps, not in the puzzle, not in the game. In the game, John is very, no, this is how it has to happen. She must make her choice. She must blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He is very, very strict in game time. Okay. He's in game mode. So I think that was him, like, showing, whatever John Kramer compassion can be during these moments of, okay, I'll let you have it. She can go after this dude. All right. You don't think that?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't catch him being like, okay. I guess I didn't catch that. I felt like it was just Amanda kind of getting in the way.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
I think she was the, the start of it, the instigator. And I think him just letting her do it was enough. What did you think of Gabriella's trap?
Well, I guess it was kind of the funny moment in all of it, wasn't it? Where she cut off her foot and she swung over and you're like, oh shit, she's out of the big ass heat gun, basically.
Yeah.
And it moves over and you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. I don't know why she didn't just cut her hand though, because she would have landed on the floor.
Because Cecilia told her to. She's like, start with your foot, start with your foot. No, what are you doing? Start with your foot.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know why she listened.
I don't know what goes through your head
in those moments. Yeah.
Yeah, in those moments.
No, I get that. But I was just, and that's a classic horror thing, is when you're making the wrong decision, like, and the audience knows, kind of thing. That's a very typical thing, but that's fun, no doubt. I like the trap. It was, again, it was just, for some reason, it seems way more brutal than a lot of traps to come before.
Yeah.
Because she's getting fucking cooked.
Yup. Like her drugs. But we mentioned a little bit of Diego's puzzle, where he has what, 2 bombs on one in each of his hands or his arm, and he has to dig them out with the scalpel, which that was crazy. That was kind of like the first one. I guess the first one is the eyeball one, that he has that like a daydream almost.
Was it a daydream?
The eyeball one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The eyeball one was a daydream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was the janitor, and he was going to steal that watch, and then John saw him.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Like, imagined it.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
And then, he snapped out of it, and he was like, good choice.
Which is another dope-ass trap, because we've got just enough texture of this character, or really just human. He's not really a character, and he was, he's about to steal something. It's like, all right, I'm gonna fucking break your fingers one by one.
I know. That's cool.
Like, yeah.
That's cool. I did like that. I did like just how, just showing us how like instinctive those thoughts were for John.
Or intrusive.
Or intrusive. Yeah. So I did enjoy that. But I know that was the trailer trap that was shown, and a lot of people were upset that it wasn't a real one. It wasn't a real trap. Someone didn't have to escape that. He just imagined it.
I mean, like you've been saying, for one, 99% of these motherfuckers are here for just the deaths. You got the death. There's no real lore and history and, character development across Saw. What does it matter if it's make-believe or not? Like if that trap was just in his imagination. You know what I'm saying?
You saw it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, and then not to mention that trap. I mean, just like we were just saying, it kind of builds character within John. Having these thoughts.
Yeah.
That are just probably a little out of control. And it'd be cool if we got some perspective on him kind of being uncomfortable with thinking these things all the time. That'd be cool in the next movie. I guarantee you there will be a next movie.
Yeah, you said it so well. It's another trap that was shown to you, and like, just have fun with it. It almost played out like one, and that one had kind of the classic Saw transitions that we see in the first one. The camera kind of spazzing out while they're getting.
Yep. Yep. All right. Camera fucking doesn't. I don't know what's going on, man. And I mean, I guess that's another. It's iconic to Saw, right? That they basically invented early 2000s editing, but we need to leave it in the early 2000s as well. All right. Saw gets a little bit of a pass, and they understand that. Here, they're like, remember this, and then they, that's it. They just a little bit of a nostalgia pull, I guess, there.
John remembers too.
Yeah, to hook you. And I guess for conciseness, I'm glad they kind of did away with it, because gore is one of those things, unlike other horror, where a focus on it only intensifies it, I think, if it's done well, which it is here. You don't want to be skipping around. You want the camera to just fucking be like, this is it. We're Gonzo style, just, you're going to experience this right now.
Yeah.
You're going to watch this instead of being schizophrenic, spazzy. I like that.
So I'm totally with you there, but it did remind me of the Meg 2 and how the dinosaur was kind of heavily advertised. And it only had like, what, 2 minutes? If that?
No, not even. Yeah. Hardly.
Yeah.
30 seconds maybe.
And
I didn't know that about Meg 2 though. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we remember. I can't remember if we talked about that or not. But
I think we did. And now that it's on HBO, I think it's HBO or Max, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
Now that it's on Max, the dinosaur is in the thumbnail.
That's awesome. I love that kind of stuff. We've talked about that before, though, whether we talked about it during Meg 2 or whatever. But I like that. It's like, I don't know what you'd call it, but kind of lying in your trailer to some degree, like kind of.
It's like clickbait.
yeah, clickbaity trailers. I kind of like that, but not really, because you still have the same tone and everything, but you just don't show that particular thing. That's fun. I think there's something really, I don't know. I like that a lot. I like that.
Well, I think this movie does it different, though. It doesn't do it quite on that level because it's just different. I just thought that was funny that people were saying that.
That is funny. Yeah, it's different because you see the whole scene play out.
Yeah.
If you, it would have been awesome if in the trailer you see that scene, a lot of it, the eyeballs and the fingers. And then when in the movie, we see John imagine it and it gets interrupted midway through. And most of that scene is actually just in the trailer and not in the movie. That would have been more along the lines of that.
Yeah.
Which would have been funny. That would have been very cool.
You would have liked that.
I would have liked that a lot. I thought that would have been really, really bold, actually, and really confident in what's to come.
How did you feel about them bringing Amanda back?
Yeah, after the second movie, I don't love Amanda. She's okay. I don't really know how to place her yet, even after 20 years. But she's okay. She's obviously the side of John and Amanda, John and Friends, she's the side of things where she's like not totally in on this emotionally.
Yeah.
And we get less of her. I feel like she was a little bit more dramatic, like a little bit more loud with how she feels about things. Movies back, I feel like here she's a little more like subdued, I guess, and not as expressive, with the exception, I guess, of Gabriella. But even that, she's kind of still low key about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd maybe misremembering that, but that feels a little off. But she's okay. I like John having a partner like that.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's his fucking wife later. She's not really a partner, but she's sort of a co-conspirator.
Yeah, she's kind of honoring his last will and testament.
Yeah, and it's kind of stupid. The Hoffman stuff I like better, and then later the doctor and everything, but
You're killing me.
But she's okay. She's enough for me. She is. How do you feel about her?
Yeah, so she has a big character switch, I guess, where she starts making the traps unbeatable in the third movie.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then in the next movies, we find out why she's doing that. But I agree. I think she is just, I think she's more developed in those films. But because she's in several of them, she's in 3?
And I guess to be fair for Amanda, this film does take place between 1 and 2.
That's also true. We don't get a lot of her in 1.
Maybe she's a little more nervous at this point in time. To be fair, yeah.
She's not totally there. She doesn't know.
Yeah.
But I like that because, hold on, let me back up a little bit. Someone said that they didn't like that they gave this version of Amanda, and then in the next movies, she makes the traps unbeatable and blah blah blah. So it's like the characters aren't matching or whatever. And I mean, you kind of have to know why she did that. I think Hoffman is blackmailing her. Is that spoily? No.
It's too late. We've said too much already.
Oh, dang. But, Hoffman is blackmailing her because Amanda's boyfriend was the one that killed the baby. So I think John doesn't know that. So Hoffman tells Amanda, you need to start making these traps unbeatable or I'm going to tell John, basically. So it's not a character switch. It's what she had to do to protect herself, I guess. I don't know. But even if it was, I could totally understand because after dealing with Cecilia, I could understand anyone making a switch like that. I mean, this girl this lady was savage as fuck. I would have changed so fast. I mean, she does the thing she does. She gutted Valentina, took out her intestines.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was crazy. That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, and no hesitation whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess she's like, we're going to kill bitches like this?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, she steps on Gabriella's head. She survived. Gabriella survived.
Oh, yeah? Yeah,
and
true.
She went and fucking stomped on her ass. That was insane. And then she goes and gets the little boy. She's like, it's not going to be you and Amanda. It's going to be you
Carlos.
and Carlos. Ooh, this bitch is evil.
Yeah.
So, you know what? If Amanda did have a character switch, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I could see it. Yeah.
What I didn't like about Amanda is how she looked.
Well, she's like 17 years older. So yeah. I know that I read that they thought about de-aging John and her, but de-aging technology and effects are just so subpar right now. They look so bad. So they decided to not to and just kind of put a lot of makeup on her.
So just make her blurry.
Yeah, I think.
Let's blur out the wrinkles.
I think it's almost like they took the it's like they didn't make her blurry. They made like the details of her face kind of blurry. Like they took the blur tool on Photoshop and touched her up that way and stuff. And they may have done that in post in some way. I don't know. But she did look a little off. Because I don't feel like they did anything to John. He looked as old as ever. He looked old as ever. He did. And, I guess fortunately when you're that old, 10, 15 years don't matter too much. But Amanda was young when she started the franchise. And so I hear you. Totally. And that I did notice that took me out when they did any kind of close-ups on her. That did take me out of it a little bit. I just noticed, in that sense. I was just like, oh man, I see they didn't do the Indiana Jones thing. Thank God. That would have been way worse. I much prefer this method. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it took me out a little too much.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I'm kind of wondering if they could have made her look younger in other ways. Maybe give her, longer hair. She had longer hair in one movie. I can't remember if chronologically that would have made sense. Yeah,
I was trying to remember in 2 what length is her hair. I feel like it's like almost to her shoulders, like a little above. But I guess that would sort of make sense because short hair, a little bit longer there, and then probably a little bit longer later to show that time. So maybe they felt like they wrote themselves in a corner in that way.
I think her hair was long she's in the first one, right?
She might be in the first one.
She survives
in a flashback.
She survives her trap in the first one, I think.
That's right. Yeah, at the very beginning.
And her hair's long.
Okay.
So they could have kept it kind of like that. I don't know, but longer hair is usually more youthful.
Yeah.
So I think that was a wrong stylistic choice there.
Yeah, and maybe we're trying to capture some of the early 2000s again. So I totally feel you though. Yeah.
Yeah. It took me out enough that it bugged me, but I guess not enough to be like, oh, what is this shit? Turn it off. I am glad that they used the same person.
To be honest, I didn't even know until later. I did not remember what Amanda looked like. Not gonna lie. I figured it was because I could tell that she was, a middle-aged woman now.
Holy shit.
And not in her 20s.
What about our boy Billy? How'd you feel about the puppet?
Does Billy show up more often in the other films, or does he show up just once normally?
I thought I remembered him more, but they also have a lot of video, not necessarily tape recorders, but videos too of Billy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So maybe that's why I think there's more of him.
I liked him. I felt like he was bigger than normal. Was he? There was a shot, I think, that was like kind of looking up at him, angled up, and it made me feel like he was huge.
He did feel bigger to me too.
Okay.
But I thought that's just because they had to make him pull the whole tray.
Oh, maybe that too, yeah.
They were like, let's just make him a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Now, Billy's great. I mean, you don't have a Saw film without him. You know, he's essential.
Do you feel like he was placed in a weird spot? Or like the time he came out was kind of weird? Or is that just me?
I mean,
it's almost like, and here's Billy in his little bike.
Then it was for all the, people who remember.
Yeah.
No doubt. It was definitely weird, and I think that is because we were in that room the whole time, and then they revealed Billy. I think that was a little like, what? He's here the whole time? No, he wasn't. I saw that corner, kind of thing. And because normally a group of people go from room to room, or one person's in a room, another person's in another room, another person in another. We see him on video. We're in a new room. He shows up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that all makes sense. But yeah, I think because we were in that room that whole time, it played with us a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's all it was. But it was no doubt, just like that first execution scene in the hospital with the thief, it was no doubt. And here's Billy. Here's another nostalgia pull kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No okay. He fell off in his placement.
Yeah. I bet you if you timed it out, if you saw that first execution, Amanda's appearance, Billy showing up, and the final reveal, I bet you they're all spaced equally apart.
Oh. I might have to look at that.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy him. I enjoyed all the funny, cute Easter eggs in this film a lot. And I like when I can appreciate a film that puts them in there. There's not a lot of franchises that I've watched and rewatched.
Yeah.
So this was one of them, and I completely enjoyed them. So I'm glad they kept a lot of that. The pig mask, his little sketch on the
bear trap.
The bear trap. Of course, Amanda. I wish it would have been a little bit more twisty and turny and plot twist and bam, but...
Well, that's the thing, they obviously wanted to keep this kind of self-contained. So we couldn't get too crazy with that. Also, it's a prequel, sequel kind of thing where we can't get too crazy because we already know where things end up over and over and over and over again for the next fucking, 8 movies.
It's like The Lion King 1.5. It was so chill. Yeah.
So if you're looking for that kind of M. Night Shyamalan double twist thing, I could see that being kind of disappointing. But I feel like this twist was probably the first or second most earned twists in the whole series, though. Just earned, not best necessarily, but just bet she didn't see that come, bitch, like talking to Cecilia, because she thinks she's the smart one. No, okay. John's got your ass. He was ready for this. I kind of like that with the Amanda thing in the second one, where she was kind of she's
been in on it.
She's been there the whole time. She's watching after the kid.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with you there, but it was plot twisty enough.
Oh, no matter what, yeah, it was a great twist.
It was.
Great twist. But I guess in the landscape of Saw, maybe it's different, no doubt. It was definitely a different big twist that the trap isn't usually the twist. It's usually the reveal of character, the reveal of new killer, the reveal of accomplice. Yeah. So, not trap, which was awesome. It was awesome. The reveal, the twist, getting him up in that room, and the cop and everything, or her boyfriend, I guess, whatever he was.
Yeah, Parker.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, so let's talk about the end scene with, basically Cecilia making John and Carlos get on that seesaw and getting waterboarded.
Did you like that trap?
I was a bit confused on what was supposed to happen. Like, how was she gonna end up on there? I guess it was for her and Parker, but not really, because he knew what was gonna happen. So it was for him and Amanda. So how was he gonna handle that with Amanda?
They were both gonna get on it,
And then what?
and then they were
Take turns?
Cecilia was gonna go, up into the room, and that would have still played out exactly the same way. And then they would have taken turns, just like him and Carlos did. Carlos is, I don't know what Carlos is on, man, because he's like, no, man, I'm gonna take some of this.
Oh no, you poor old man.
Yeah, like what the fuck, boy. Which is, I don't know, that should have been stupid, but I like that.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was as good of a feel good moment as you can get in the Saw films.
Yeah, because they weren't actually in any danger.
Yes, suffocating.
I mean, yes, but they could have gotten out of their collar at any time. Like if it was just him and Amanda switching and stuff, all they had to do was wait for them to go up into the room. So they were in danger, sort of. They were being waterboarded by lots of blood, not just normal waterboarding. And they had to, kind of not let each other choke, but they also could take off the collar at any moment. It took a second, I guess, too, to take off the collar, but they could. You feel me?
Yeah. Okay. And why didn't Cecilia hurt Amanda, like, immediately? Or didn't she tried, didn't she, with the gun? But he had taken out the bullets or replaced them with something or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, he took whatever's
right.
inside the bullet. He took it out, which was awesome. That's a good flashback, and we saw it once. That's another good one where we get. It's not really a flashback. I mean, I guess it is, but it's like it's part of the reveal. So it's a little bit excusable in the flashback sense, and it's just like, God, John thinks of everything.
Which I like that. I like that that's another, Saw element that they kept. That he thinks of everything.
Yeah. John's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
When it comes to this kind of shit, when it comes to psychology, no. John is the guy.
That's so funny, though, that, I mean, even though he's the smartest guy in the room, this bitch decided to pull out a kid and come trap him. He didn't see that coming.
That is true. And he he tried to handle it to the best of his ability, but Carlos was not having it either. It's just like, God damn, this kid's something else.
But hey, he gets a good payout at the end, man. $8 million
if he's
in
smart.
Pesos. Can you imagine that?
Oh man, yeah. If he stays in Mexico, he needs to watch his back. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. By family and whoever else. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Your family's gonna come fucking take your money.
Hell yeah. The dad's probably like, oh shit, now we gotta watch our backs.
Or maybe he wants to, try to take his whole family over to the United States or to wherever. Maybe they want to go somewhere else.
That's true. That's also true.
I bet you with that kind of money, you can get a fast pass visa.
Oh, hell yeah. In Mexico? Hell yeah. So quick. All right.
If that's what he wants, If I was him, I'd just go by myself. What do you think about the trap when they were up there? Cecilia and Parker. Again, pretty brutal.
Yes.
Because she's getting fucked up even while breathing, you know? Or at least the exposed skin is for sure.
Yes. That was a brutal trap. And it's so funny because they had just told Parker, like, she's going to end up killing you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is great. That's great. Great Saw storytelling.
Yes. And that plot twist with him being, in on it or being the boyfriend or whatever. Did you see that coming? Because a lot of the reviews I read and saw, a good bit, not everybody, but a good bit of people were like, oh, I saw that coming.
No, I didn't know. I guess I didn't. I knew he was not going to be cooperative, but I didn't know he was going to be the boyfriend. That was the big twist for me. He's her boyfriend.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming either, that was going to be her boyfriend. And I don't know. Some of these people that say that stuff, I just get a little irritated. Like, no, you didn't. You didn't know. You're just saying it. How did you know? How?
Well, to be fair, I guess you are watching a Saw movie, so
you don't know what's coming.
I mean, that's true, but you know not everything is as it seems. You know that too. You know something's gonna happen. Something crazy's gonna happen like that. And to be fair. But at the same time, I'm with you. I try to be honest in those instances. Sometimes I'm embarrassed I didn't see something's coming, and I'm like, fuck, But you gotta own it.
I'm never embarrassed.
You gotta own it too. You can't, because it's funny, right? If you don't, and then if I'm with you, it doesn't matter if I fucking didn't see or not because you didn't see shit. But I imagine most people probably did not see that in its entirety. Of course Parker's not going to be cooperative. That's obvious, I think.
Yeah.
But no, people did not see her. People did not expect Parker to be the boyfriend. No, that's fucking insane. Oh, you can come here, buddies.
Good Saw twist.
I want to see M. Night Shyamalan direct a Saw movie.
Yes.
That'd be cool, right?
That would be so cool. I'd be all for that. That'd probably be one of my best movies ever.
The dream collab.
Yes.
James Wan's responsible for Saw, right?
Yes.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's awesome. He's responsible for 2 of the greatest horror, my opinion.
No,
Insidious scares the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's to date. I've seen that movie like 2, maybe 3 times, and it still scares me. Like, wow.
And Conjuring?
The Conjuring?
I was going to say Conjuring and Saw are probably 2 of the most important horror franchises, and they popped up in our lifetime. Most important horror franchises are older than us.
Yeah.
But I love that Saw is still trucking along and is in great shape at this point. And then Conjuring, of course, but still, that Conjuring's more recent. But so that's why I kind of Saw. It's like, yes, kind of like we were talking about. That's like part of us.
Yep. It is. How'd you feel about the post-credit scene?
What was it?
Henry. The post-credit scene where Henry is hanging, and we see John and Hoffman, and you're like, oh shit, Hoffman. I can imagine that at the movie theater. Oh my god, I wish I would have seen it then. And they lift up his shirt, and there's no scar on his belly, and we know that he was a fucking liar.
Did we know Hoffman was involved in Saw 2? I think that's fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I don't think we meet Hoffman until 4.
But we do know he was there during 3. I think that's where a lot of the flashbacks revolve around, because John dies in 3, right? Officially.
I don't remember which one he officially dies in.
Pretty sure it's 3.
But we also don't know when that post-credit scene takes place.
I mean, that's fair, too. That's fair.
And I think they're in the bathroom, right? From the first movie?
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yes, I think so. That's the first thing I noticed. The tile. So, I wasn't sure when that took place. So it might be later on, because I think the guy that he had called about, Henry, was the other guy that he couldn't quite track. So that kind of made me think they finally found him. Years later, months later, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was pretty excited for that post-credit scene. And it felt like a earlier 2000s end credit where they answered something that happened in the movie. Not like the post-credit scenes we get now where it's something completely different and kind of a sneak peek to the sequel.
They ask questions now in post-credit scenes.
And I felt like this one was more, oh, you were wondering what happened to Henry? Here it is.
Yeah.
And then we have, more Easter eggs with Hoffman and the tile and whatnot. I'm sure I missed more things that, I would love to rewatch. But I was pretty excited for it.
I did just want to shout out Mateo's death helmet was like the Aztec or Mayan, excuse me. I'm not sure, but it was like the face.
Yeah, I didn't even
cool,
notice
right?
that.
That
That
cool.
was cool. I mean, that was cool that it took place in Mexico City.
I think that was cool too. I was wondering, when we start moving around and naming places and going across the world, the scope feels like it's about to blow up a little bit, and that's bigger scope, less focus normally. Yeah. So I was kind of like, ooh, wonder, I don't know about this, but we just had to go to Mexico to get a experimental, in quotes, experimental surgery. So that was ended up being fine. But yeah, just shout out to Mateo's death helmet. That was cool.
That was cool. I didn't even notice that. But
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I really like that actually, now that I think about it, because our characters are Mexican, or at least Hispanic. They live in Mexico City. And I don't know, for some reason that makes it funnier.
Yeah, he made it symbolic.
And they were so dramatic, and their deaths were dramatic.
Yeah.
So that was funny. And he got some sightseeing out of the way before he died.
Yeah, man. Thank you for watching this film with me.
No, thank you for watching this film with me.
Do you have a budget guess for me today?
I do. And I'm going to go with 20 million.
Well, you'll be happy to hear this movie only cost 13 million.
13?
This shit puts The Nun to shame.
Wow.
Shame. Especially Nun 1 puts that shit way to shame. That's awesome, right?
Spiral was 20.
That's not bad, too. That's not bad.
So I was like, okay, probably on par.
Yeah, you maybe should have looked at the movies he worked on.
Yeah.
The two that he directed, maybe.
Well, I think Jigsaw wasn't too far. Did he direct Jigsaw? Oh no, Jigsaw was 10 million. Okay, never mind.
So that was in the ballpark.
I should have looked at some of those, not Spiral. But yeah, I looked at Spiral, and that was 20. So, dang, that's awesome. That's nothing.
And it went on to make about 80 million. So
okay.
Not too shabby.
Okay.
That's I think definitely grounds for another Saw. Maybe not next year or the year after, but definitely in the next 2 or so, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'll buy it, so I'll support it.
Yeah, I think they are very happy with that, probably, especially with after the reception of this film. Great reception, but after the reception of Spiral, which was dog shit.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever let Chris Rock near Saw ever again, but but just anyone, Kevin here may have just got himself a permanent position,
Good. I want to see what he has to say.
I'd be curious to know what James Wan thinks of Saw today, because he's really, I think he was involved in the first 2, but he's out, he hasn't been involved in a long time. He's a busy guy, of course, and I'm talking to him right now, trying to get him to direct every Conjuring film moving forward, but he hasn't hit me back yet.
Dang, so rude.
But I'd be curious to know what he has to say about Saw today, especially after Saw X.
And I mean, that was his baby, or one of his babies.
It was one of his babies, but it's his early baby, because Saw originally was a short film. It was a very early conception of his, and then he made a film.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something out there. I'm gonna look. I'm curious too what he has to say now.
Yeah, if I had to guess, he's pretty public. He's a pretty public guy, I bet. So I bet you there's something out there. I just haven't looked into it. But do you have a game for me today?
Oh, I should say, do you want to play a game?
You said that almost like, do you want to build a snowman? I I heard that.
Do you want to play a game? I can't even do it. Oh, can you distort my voice?
No.
Oh, man. Okay. You ready? So in this game, you're John Kramer. And I'm going to give you 2 moral dilemmas, and you're going to tell me which one deserves
To die?
to die.
Or to be pushed to their limits?
To be pushed to their limits. You ready?
I am.
All right. Drug addiction versus cheating on your wife. Who deserves the trap, the puzzle?
I guess these are so, like, innocent. Both of these.
Well, I'm trying to make them level here.
Okay.
And
yeah, they're pretty level. Okay.
And there things that have actually happened in the movies.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess drug addiction because it, do I need to say why?
If you want.
Because it affects everyone around you. Cheating does not affect everyone around you.
It affects your kids.
It can affect your kids and it can affect
and then
your
kids
partner.
Affect everyone around you.
Yeah, but not as like drugs. No. Not
all
like
right,
drugs.
Fair.
Although neither of these people should be pushed to their limits. To be fair, I don't know what John's on. Pushing these guys are limits.
Look, I'm with him, man. All right, this cancer treatment scam.
The one we
just saw in this film, or killing the baby and the prego lady.
The cancer
accident.
treatment scam for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I see how you feel. I guess that does affect way more people.
Yeah, and
that's their life savings they're giving you.
The baby killing was an accident, right?
Yeah, I guess he was running away because he was on drugs. And pushed the door and hit her belly.
Yeah, it's still an accident.
Even though you're on drugs, it's still an accident.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it. Suicide.
Like attempted suicide?
Yes.
Because if they're dead.
Yeah. Attempted suicide, thank you. Versus being obsessed with whatever. I guess like the cops were obsessed with finding who Jigsaw is. Their obsession brought them there.
I guess like in the cop sense, that kind of obsession, something along those lines, that'll probably win me over the obsession. But not all obsessions are equal, though. So.
All right.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, attempted suicide is fine. You're doing it to yourself.
Yeah, you're doing it to yourself. It's going to affect others, but it's going to be much short-lived than, like, drugs.
All right. Next. Kitty porn.
Versus
raping women.
That's a good one, actually.
Well, I'll take it back.
Raping women. Yeah, unless you're getting the kitty porn, like you're taking pictures of kids.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Unless you're doing that, yeah, the raping part.
All right. Last one. Stealing a watch, like our janitor here was going to do, versus insurance fraud.
I guess insurance fraud. They're definitely ruining more people's lives. They're definitely the greater evil.
What if it's a heirloom?
Oh, no. Heirlooms are overrated. You can't. No.
I agree with that. Yeah. But I guess I've never had one, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's just that's an unfortunate reality people will have to face, that heirlooms are not worth more than the market value. They're worth more to you, I guess. The eBay seller will be the guy who stole it and is selling on eBay for $10,000, is hoping you're going to buy it back. They're not counting on anyone else buying it.
All right, man. Well, thank you for playing with me.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for watching this film. Thank you for talking about this film, more importantly.
You'd make a great John Kramer.
Is that all the ones he picked?
He picked all of them. Everyone on the list. So, I guess whatever you picked.
It was a win-win.
It was a win-win.
I'm John Kramer. Remember, we post new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora. Didn't expect that one, did ya?
Nope.
But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives in the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.